Alright, what's up? This is Doomwar291. I'm here with Geek358_2. If you guys saw the previous video, that was not planned. This one was also not. This one was also not planned because.
Hey, don't we love things not planned at all? Honestly, come on. They make the best day of our lives.
I know they're surprising. They just randomly throw one thing after another. Now this one should have been first, but the other one had my attention way too much. I could not ignore it.
Two great fandoms, but now we're on this one now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I'll let her start it off since. Oh
yeah, because I was the one that I found it and I showed it to him. So, in case you haven't if you haven't heard the news lately, as of today, we have now another Tales from Lucas Animations, which is called Tales from the Underworld, which is basically our two greatest bounty hunters now of Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress. So, 3 episodes each of their own. I think, especially them two, are very interesting to go into on their own. It sounds like it's like much of a collaboration in the end. And we're not, as far as like, I feel like these two characters are really, they do deserve like their own kind of thing. Of like, their own background stories. So,
I mean,
and I feel like we get to know each side better than we already know enough.
here's the thing about well, everything in terms of Cad Bane. Last time we left off with him, he failed to get Omega.
He was killed by Boba finally.
Well, I don't know. Some people still want to argue he's still alive.
Okay, fine. I guess some people want it, but that's just throwing out there because it's already out there.
But the question I was asked actually at work was, do we think that they're gonna add in the stuff that they cut from from the Clone Wars, like the Boba Fett training Cad Bane did before their like showdown?
Well, I could and couldn't. I can and can't see that. Well, mainly on Cad Bane more than Asajj, only because we're now because for Asajj we're seeing more of like this Asajj we're looking at is like what we saw from the Bad Batch because of her look, basically based on the trailer. This is the look that we're seeing. So I feel like this is either after she left the Bad Batch, or maybe like during her time, like before she got into them. It's just because of the look that she's given. It's because it's still the same look that she's given them. And what is it? I don't. Some people have already been asking like, "Where's Quinlan in this?" I'm like, okay. It's like I don't blame it because of the books, which that's still something I have yet to read.
I
but,
thought
like,
that what's it called? That Inquisitor was gonna be a Quinlan boss. That would have been actually crazy.
Yeah, I again, it's just because of the way that she's looked in the trailer. I feel like this is probably, again, it's either after or before she met the Batch, and then she had like when she had that train, and then she gave Omega the training, which didn't go out so well in the end.
Yeah, I don't even think it could even be counted as training.
And then again, it was like the whole one thing. Sorry, sidetracking off from that. That's the whole. Besides, that's another category. but yeah, and then I just love the fact that we got the animation back. I was afraid that the animation was gonna die out. The studio was gonna die out already, which it was planned to. It just looks now I mean, it still gives off the same style, but it just keeps on getting better and better. Like improvement has been made on it.
Yeah, so, I was gonna say, for those who aren't aware, Asajj Ventress had like a thing with Quinlan Voss. They were gonna kill Dooku, but you know, prequel shenanigans ensue, and then Asajj Ventress dies, only for that to be retconned. Thanks, Filoni. Once again, you don't understand what canon is, but then again, everyone from Disney doesn't either, so. That's a different discussion. The main one is, will we even see any part of it? I think it's just gonna be mentioned. If anything, there's gonna be a small mention to it.
I feel like at least on her story, yeah, there might just be more mentions.
There has to
And then
be.
I just
There's
want,
no way it'll cover it.
I just want to know who is the boy that she's protecting basically, because now he's got a lightsaber. I mean, I don't know how important this boy character is, honestly. I wish I got more detail on him, or at least if I can look into it. I probably can, but
No,
during
here's the
that time,
problem
I didn't know who
though.
it was.
Here's the problem with it though. It's another character that survived Order 66.
66.
And
Yeah.
the complaint that a lot of people have had is that, well, more people keep surviving it, so it's not as big of an impact like it did the first time we saw it in theaters. Or, well, yeah, because I saw it in theaters, and that was the first introduction to Star Wars, so whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, in that case, yeah.
So, I get it, like, maybe he's Force sensitive. I'd be fine if he's not a Jedi survivor and he just so happens to have the Force and is being trained.
You're right. In that case, that would be right.
That'd be fine. It's just if it's another survivor, it's like, oh, we gotta update the Order 66 collage again.
I just, which that means more of our tragic moments. I love rewatching so many times. I actually do. I don't care how many people actually don't like it. If there are people that don't like it, I don't care. I can just back that off. I actually love rewatching the Order so much. I'm sorry if for some people it's not enjoyment. To me, kind of is.
No, like it's enjoyable because it's like it happened to so many Jedi. That's fine. It's just the survivor count is a bit absurd.
Yeah, I guess there's that.
That's where my thing is. It's like if they killed off Jedi, that's one thing. Which, by the way, we never even found out what happened to the other kid Jedis. We only found like the Wookiee Jedi in that one episode.
Yeah,
of
we only found Gungi. We don't know about the others, and well, now that makes me think. Oh shoot. Now the boys. Now that you said that, now that makes me think the boy one of the boys is freaking that one Ventress. So who knows? That's another theory.
Do you think that they were bold enough to actually murk a child?
I mean, it's a kid show, right?
The funny joke again.
But yeah. So yeah, as far as Asajj, I think it will be interesting. And then as far as Cad Bane, we're going into a backstory. It seems like a childhood friend kind of thing, growing up, and now they're gonna duel against each other, which obviously I think he may struggle at first, but in the end he's gonna win.
It's gonna make way more sense than with Sabine.
Yeah.
That was the only complaint I had with the with Ahsoka, because it's like she wasn't Force sensitive. There was no allude to Force sensitivity. But it is what it is. Overall, that's for Asajj. For Cad Bane's section, because I don't want to forget about him. His thing was actually interesting because I kind of, it's a revenge plot. One seems redemption, the other one seems revenge. And for the revenge one, I'm kind of curious where they're going with this. We know Cad Bane survives this, but I'm kind of curious because it's going to a backstory of his.
Yes, which I feel like, I don't know if there is a comic of that, honestly. I feel like that's something I could have looked at, but I feel like this is something we do need of him as well, so.
Well, there hasn't been much of Cad Bane outside of what we saw in Ahsoka. No, not Ahsoka.
No, it was
Bad Batch, Clone Wars, and I'm blanking out. A Book of Boba Fett. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's why I know it. Besides the point, but
such a wasted potential. But anyway.
Okay, we're not here for that one. Moving on.
Moving on. I think they're gonna do Cad Bane first. They usually do any redemption stuff right at the end.
Yeah,
Because
and
think about it.
again,
It started with Dooku, and then it did Ahsoka stuff. And then it started with, I forgot her name, and then it ended with
oh,
Barriss. No, it actually did Barriss first, if I'm not
no, it was
mistaken.
Barris first. It was Barris first, and then it was what is it? Ah, the Night Sister.
Night
I forgot
Sister.
her name.
She's so unimportant to the...
Morgan. That's her name. I'm glad, man. I'm remembering the names even better than you did.
First of
I don't
all,
know.
most of those Morgan is such a forgettable person.
I did, but I remembered. I remembered her name for some reason.
Yeah, because it was probably one of your favorite episodes.
I guess it was.
I'll give it this. It was one of the darker ones because she won. Like, she legit won. Obviously, we know that in Mandalorian Season 2 she loses, but how long does that take, though?
It kind of took a while until when he showed up. So.
Yeah, so if anything, it's impressive that she won.
It was, but also it was also because of the fact that she had help from Thrawn. So also.
True.
Other than that, technically, I guess you can, if you want to technically say that she did do it for herself, which in a way she did. Really, she did when she went through her side on her own.
Yeah.
That's the point. But besides the point of we're going here too. Man, see, that's when it happens when you get into characters and then you go in deep into it. But as far as Cad Bane, we only know how of a freaking what is it? Outsmarted, what is it? Bounty hunter he really is. So much even better than Hunter, that says something.
Yeah, but alright, any final thoughts on the matter?
I think this will go pretty good. Maybe if we get a few... I feel like I'm just more excited to see on Asajj now. I remember I said I did not like her from the start. And now I'm hearing myself say this now, I'm like, I've changed.
Well, it's a lot more because her character evolved. Because let's keep in mind, it's a similar problem that what happened... Well, it's the reverse of Grievous. Because I like to remind everyone every time I speak on Grievous, he lost to Gungans. And his iconic scream of... Because that is the most pathetic way to lose, to Gungans. I don't care if he was caught off guard. He still lost to Gungans. Yeah. I like to remind everyone. And unlike with Asajj Ventress, actually, you know what? That is funny. He only beat Obi-Wan in the show once. And he beat Asajj Ventress in all of the Night Sisters, and that's it. Any other dub he did was because he ran away.
Yeah.
But Asajj is completely different because in her case, she actually grew outside of just being the assassin or the villain of the week that gets her butt handed to her every time the heroes need to beat someone up. Which then that went to Grievous, so unfortunately that screwed him over. But that's a separate character.
Yeah, she was basically Dooku's puppet for a while until... And then he backstabbed her, so...
Yeah, but that's when her character started to grow, because it's, like, beyond the whole... Yeah. She wasn't good, but she wasn't... Well, she wasn't evil, but she wasn't good either. She grew out of the... She grew into more, like, an outlaw, which... It makes sense for the Undergrounds, like, the Tales of the Undergrounds.
Yeah.
Because it's more or less now going into more different territory than what most people are accustomed to for a Star Wars show.
Star Wars. Yeah, that's exactly true, really. And that's why stuff like... I feel like stuff like characters like this need to be brought out more. And I'm glad they're doing that. I'm actually really glad that they're doing this, because I feel like they cast it aside, like, just for a moment. And they'll have their moments, too. But now to see them actually having, like, their own, like, episodes for their own character, I feel like that's what they really needed. I feel like that's what Star Wars really needed, at least for a moment.
It really just needed a change. Right now, we haven't had, ever since The Acolyte, it kind of just dimmed Star Wars. But I think this is a good path. It's something a little more different. It isn't just complete light side or dark side. This one has actual merits to it.
Yes.
Not to mention, we can finally end Asajj Ventress' story. Filoni, please, for the love of God, actually end the character's story. That's probably the biggest flaw of his, is
In
not
this
knowing
Tales
how
of the
to end it.
Underworld, in this Tales of the Underworld, we need to see Asajj Ventress die, but like in a rightful way.
Yeah, well,
Like,
not die, but end the story. It's like with,
end the story, yeah, end the story good. And her,
think of the Bad
yeah.
Batch, how the Bad Batch's story ended. That, it was
Uh,
how it.
I'm still not okay. I'm still
Yeah,
not
but it
okay
was
with
fitting
that.
because they
It
retired. They
was. It was.
that's what I mean by end. It doesn't have to necessarily be death, but
No. It. No. I'm still not over that.
yeah, because Tech is dead.
Shut up! Stop! Man, I'll get you one day. You're lucky we're not. Well, you're lucky we're on screens right now.
Yeah, I know. All right, but final thoughts in the matter. I genuinely think it's pretty cool. I actually have high hopes. It's been a bit since I've felt like this for Star Wars, because I don't know.
It's going.
They fumbled it like a
It went
lot.
quiet. It did went quiet for a bit, and then we're coming back. Unlike some companies that would be quiet and they stay quiet. I won't say a certain game, but that's another category
Oh, okay,
here.
okay. So you want to throw that shade at me? Okay, I see. But overall, I guess the if there's one thing I can predict for sure is that we will see uh, Asajj Ventress at the very least mention the stuff with Quinlan Boss. I am confident enough that they're at the very least going to mention that. Otherwise, I mean, anything can go, and yeah, I mean, that's really that.
Yeah, I would concur. And that took a whole level to complete this video.
Yep, I wanted to show off.